That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yo, what is up, everybody? Kicking It Stateside back. Saturday edition again on a chilly. Again, we're not getting into the warm weather quite yet.
It was freaking snowing this morning.
It was snowing, and then of course it's going to be like in the 70s this week, apparently. So make up your goddamn mind. But again, welcome in, guys. Adam Modick, Brian Wheeler, what's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, I'm just as good as a guy could be with his team, just constantly underperforming week in and week out. So that's where I'm at. I'm definitely not as good as you. I can tell you that. So,
you know what? I'm feeling pretty good, I think, after, I know the Tommy Tuchel better chill. I still feel that way, but you know what? As Eddie said in our little soccer group chat that, it may not be pretty and it may not be the style per se that we might like, but he's getting results. So
we're in a result-based business.
It's true. And it doesn't matter. You can score one goal as long as you don't let up more than the other squad. You're going to win games and you're going to keep climbing up the table. So
yeah, it's stressful for the supporters, but at the end of the day, when you're 8 points, you should be happy.
It does not matter. Win is a win. I guess that's a good segue into the poll question today. I mean, speaking of teams that just cannot win, Liverpool, a team that ran away with the league last year by record amounts, setting records left and right, absolutely destroying everything in sight. Nothing could go wrong. Now they lost 5 in a row at home for the first time in club history.
Looks like everything's going wrong.
Nothing can go right this year. And I'm sure we'll have Lord Walker, our friend of the program, resident Liverpool supporter, on for the last hour or so. I'm sure he's got a lot to say about his Liverpool boys. He's probably going to say, guys, relax. All that. But at this point, it's bad.
That relaxing is over.
But he's a strong Liverpool supporter, and he's always, going to have faith in the squad. But if I'm them right now, I'm seriously concerned. Because it's not just you can make an excuse, Van Dijk being hurt and Joe Gomez being hurt, but your front three aren't scoring, and that's a problem.
As we sit this morning, they're not even a Europa League team, let alone a Champions League team.
And that goes to the poll question: do you think Liverpool will finish outside of the top 4 this year? Do you think Champions League is just not in the cards? After winning a Champions League 2 years ago, last year doing well, winning the league, to now outside even Europa and losing 5 straight at home for first time in club history.
The way things are sitting currently, their only chance of getting back to Champions League is winning Champions League. Because they're not in a position of any type of concern right now for the rest of the table, to be honest with you. The way they've fallen in points and the fact that the other teams all ahead of them are playing pretty well, including our buddies West Ham and Everton. They've all stepped their games up a little bit. You got Spurs right on their heels as usual. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't see their ticket in. I don't necessarily know if they have a ticket into Europe, period. They might have to earn their way just like anybody else that finishes out of the top 6 or in the top 6.
I'm starting to think that is Klopp's time? I'm sure Lord Walker has got a lot to say about this too, but do they just need a fresh voice in the locker room? Like, I can't put my finger on why the struggles are there.
I don't know, but he's come out for the first time and since all of this has dropped and basically addressed the team, because everything we've heard so far has been addressed everywhere else. And people call it excuses. They call it whatever they want to call it. But regardless of what you call it, it's been, well, we've been dealing with this and we've been dealing with the refs and we've been dealing with injuries. This is the first time he just came out and said players who only want to play for Champions League can leave. He's trying to, he's trying to make a statement and say, look, guys, there's more than just Champions League. Mm-hmm. We have a reputation in this league that we got to withhold. And right now, sitting in 7th place, with a game in hand over a couple of the teams that are sitting above you, it's just not where Liverpool should or expects to be. The recent Liverpool, I should say, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's just, it's kind of unacceptable, I guess, especially for the last few years being, so dominant. And to come into this year with all these high hopes, thinking that they're going to repeat and, going to have a great season again. And then, all the injuries come out. And now it's like Mane doesn't even look like he knows how to play soccer at all. There's a few times in that Chelsea game where I think he got in really good positions. And probably the old Mane buries a couple of those chances.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that game while we're here and we're starting up on the subject. I mean,
yeah,
that's one of our most recent big games. Your boys coming up big time. I mean, I got to give you all the credit, man. And we got to go back and we could dig through the archives if people don't want to hear it or listen. But this man put his boy Mason Mount on a pedestal about, what are we going on? Maybe 12 weeks now?
Yeah.
Since you kind of made, and he's been the best player on this team. He's been the best player under Frank. There was guys that showed sparks under Frank, but Frank really got him going. And now in this new system under Tuchel, he's continued to be the best player. He's the driving force. He's the engine on that team. He's working the hardest. He's getting results. He's scoring. He's assisting. And no bigger goal than, one in a 1-0 win against Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. I told you. I mean, I thought, like you said, under Lampard, he was the best player on the field most games. And his production, excuse me, now under Tuchel seems to be. He's the one that's putting the ball in the net when, the striker position, it's like you have to rely on Olivier. And apparently, Tammy, either he's not buying in or, again, we're not on the training ground to see, how he's performing there, but there just seems to be a disconnect with Tuchel and Tammy Abraham. So you need that scoring, and Mason, he's giving it to you. You only need that one, it seems like, with this Chelsea team because they're not letting up a lot of goals. I think 2 goals maybe in 10 games.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Especially with the fact that, it's not like he came in there and had an offseason and came in and added anything. He's got the same pieces that we, under Frank Lampard, said Chelsea had zero defense. Chelsea went out and spent $260 million, and a small piece of that was on Thiago Silva, and he's not even the difference maker in the defense, Chilwell finally gets on the pitch. Mm-hmm. So he was the other one that on the defense they spent money, and he looked good. I think he needed that. I think, again, we talk about the tough coaching and the tough love. I think Tuchel came in and said, look, just because they spent all this money on you and just because you had a good season last year at another club, nothing's given to you. You got to come out and earn it. Mm-hmm. And he's probably worked hard on the pitch, and he lost his job to, a guy he probably shouldn't at this point in his career. And he fought back and he got it back. So,
yeah, it seems like he's holding players more accountable, I would assume, than Frank Lampard has. It's wild that, and whether that he did that on purpose, throwing Marky Alonso out there for all those games to, send a message saying, like you said, kind of like, it doesn't matter like who played under Frank Lampard. Like, I'm the coach now. Like, you still got to go out there and prove it to me, like, that you want to be there. And, he gave him a chance, and I think he played really well. He also, didn't play Callum Hudson-Odoi again, and he played Reece James in that spot, almost like on the wing. So
yeah,
that's kind of interesting too. So I think he's figuring it out. He's kind of tinkering to see, I think he's a week-to-week guy, What he sees in training for that week, he's going to throw those guys out there that look the best and not, like, roll out, like, the same starting 11 like, a lot of managers do.
Well, these guys complain with these heavy work schedules, and when you can find a proper rotation that is still getting you results and you're getting guys game time and sticking with a few core players, I mean, that's kind of the name of the game. If you can pull that off and get positive results, I mean, you're doing everything that should be asked of a coach in this league. And yes, Tommy, it's snow. It's flurries. It's like one here and there, but yes, it is. It's still popping a flurry.
We still got snow, and we've had some March snows before.
We've had March blizzards before.
We have had March blizzards.
But yes.
But yes, just want to say again, good morning to everybody. Thanks for checking in. Tommy, Greg, enjoying, I'm sure, lovely Florida. Again, every morning he rubs it in our face how gorgeous the Florida weather is, and he's attending spring training, which that part I'm a little jealous of.
Super jealous.
He says he agrees to the poll. Also, Jake, what's going on, Jake? Said, I don't know how you can't be concerned. That's kind of what my feeling is. But
that's where we're at now. Yeah, I mean, we kept kind of brushing it off, and we were like, nah, it's still Liverpool, nah, but it's panic button time.
It's one of those, like, yeah, they'll turn the corner and right the ship. Like a Jurgen Klopp coach team, this roster, the front three that's been so potent over the last few years, and now it's just like, you're losing 5 in a row for the not just like first time in a little bit, but the first time in club history, in a history that dates back to like the 1800s.
Well, unfortunately for them, they've lost their spine and their heart, because now we're losing Van Dijk and Hendo. Like it's pretty hard to function without your backbone and your heart.
Exactly.
So, and I don't know. I haven't seen it. Nobody has come in. Nobody has filled that void. And I know you can't fill the void of the best defender in the world per se, but somebody's still got to step up. Somebody's got to make a play. And that's no excuse for the offense as well. I know they want to play counter ball, and it's hard when you don't have that momentum moving you, but it's panic button time.
I think that...
Thanks, Pete.
It's you think maybe like Jay Hendo maybe would step up this year, with Van Dijk being hurt, like he's the next guy in line. Even when Van Dijk is in, I feel like Hendo is, the guy that's been there forever. He's the one holding everybody together, but now it's just, I don't know. And I'm thinking that, I don't know, maybe they do need another voice. Maybe it's the same voice that they've heard for the last, 4 years, 5 years now. Klopp's been there. Yeah. Maybe they just need something else, because right now, whatever it is, ain't working. Yeah. And, they got a game, they think they play Fulham this weekend. They play somebody not that great.
Yeah, they have an opportunity to get back into the...
They play Fulham at home, so...
Yeah, tomorrow at 9 a.m. So this is an opportunity to get some points back. But again, the guys that are ahead of you or right on your tails are also, Tottenham gets Crystal Palace. That should be more points for Tottenham.
Mhm.
Leicester's playing Brighton. You got the Manchester derby coming this weekend, so but you're not even worried. Like, Manchester's so far out of your reach. Either one of them, they're not even a concern at this point. West Ham gets Leeds. Chelsea and Everton play each other. I mean, that could help a little bit, but
again, for losing 5 home games in a row, I think they're maybe 4 back of Chelsea.
They are currently 4 back of Chelsea. Yes.
Okay, so
I mean, I guess if you're going to hammer any team, hammering Liverpool at home against a bad Fulham team after 5 straight home losses is the time to do it. But like, can you even trust this team?
No.
Against Fulham?
No.
That's
you
bad.
can't. You really can't, because you would think, if this was previous, in form Liverpool, you would think, oh, Fulham at home, they're putting up like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But right now, it's like, you don't know. They might put up 1.
If they're lucky.
I don't know. I love Jeff. He's very tough. He's very tough on Liverpool. Overrated side. I love you. I wouldn't say overrated, the injuries do play a factor. I can't not say that.
At full health, they're not overrated.
Like, they do have the most guys that played all last year, missing the most minutes in the league. Like, their starters have missed the most time. Like, I know Lord Walker is going to come on and definitely say that. But again, it's the scoring. It's not just your defense. It's not just defense. It's everything.
Yeah. I want to know, did you actually flip the coin, or are you just using the term? Like, did you pull a quarter out and flip it, and that was your...
Hey, that's fine. It's like, heads or tails? Yes, they are. Yeah.
Here's my thing. When I posed that question to you, it was beyond just the top 4. Because, again, if they can find some form and go on and somehow win Champions League, they get back in Champions League.
Right.
But, I don't see it. Will they get past Leipzig? Most likely. They already have the 2-0 lead on them. But then, nice.
You did. It was a legit flip of the coin.
But beyond that, like, once they get past Leipzig, you're getting down to the nitty gritty. You're getting to the best teams in the world. I don't think with the roster they have currently constructed, they're going to be in any form to be competing with those. So I think it's a giant mountain to climb for them to get back in the Champions League. If we're running out of games. That's the other part. Yeah. We only have 11 games left.
Yep. Yeah, you got to string something together here soon. And again, you would think that you get Fulham at home as a perfect opportunity to turn it around. But again, not the way they've been playing. You can't put any faith in them at this point. So, again, we'll get back into this when we get Lord Walker on.
Quick score alert while we're here. It happened in the beginning of the show, but we were rolling, so I didn't want to stop. Southampton is currently up 1-0 on Sheffield. That game is at halftime. Good old James Ward-Prowse with a 32-minute penalty.
There you go. Pete says he disagrees to the poll. Too much heritage and grit for the club. I agree. I still think they find a way to get, but again, you would think that they would, but they're not showing me anything to say otherwise.
The one benefit that will help them is we'll see what Leicester does this weekend, but we talked about it before the Arsenal game last week, and this is right around where Leicester, either goes on and wins a title, or they collapse and they fall out of, Champions League / possibly European competition. Mm-hmm. So they take a really bad loss, 3-1 to Arsenal last week, which I love every moment of it. I was extremely happy as an Arsenal fan, and then let down again this week, which is that typical roller coaster we ride, and we'll talk about that game, being that was our breakfast game coming up here in a minute. But Chelsea's in good form. So you got City just clearing house like we talked about. We're almost a couple weeks where you can almost hand them the title in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
United is United. They're going to stay steady. They're beating the bad teams. They have a 8-point lead right now over Liverpool. Leicester has a 7-point lead. Then you got Chelsea. Then you got Everton. Then you got West Ham. So it's not like you only have a team to jump. You got a lot of teams that are all in really good form, and it's got to be an uncomfortable feeling for a team that's been very comfortable the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm. I think that factors into it as well, that this is like unknown territory for them.
Yeah. How do guys like this respond with their backs up against the wall?
Exactly. A little adversity, see how they respond. And again, you don't have the backbone of your Van Dijks back there, you know?
Yeah, and you don't have Hendo. You don't have the heart in the middle right now. So you're just relying on a bunch of guys that maybe haven't gotten the playing time they felt they deserved to now step in and kind of take a role. So
yeah, because I mean, I respect the guy, but Kabak is not a starting center back in the Prem.
No, well, not for Liverpool.
No.
He could probably start on a lower club and get experience and work his way up. But being thrown into that fire and like, hey, we kind of need you to save us, that wasn't the guy. Like, I kept asking and telling, not that I care because I'm not a Liverpool supporter, but my move would have been a veteran, a guy who's been there, a guy who's seen it, not a 20-year-old kid from Turkey that was the starting center back on the worst team in the Bundesliga.
I would have said still Aaron Long. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, he would have gave you more. Hey, there he is, Snow.
The man of the hour. We'll bring him on very shortly. I kind of wanted to talk about, I guess, this morning, your boys drawing Burnley 1-1.
You see, I
it's one of those where you're just like,
on.
Yeah, here mourning. It's a funeral for. it's a funeral.
The top four, top six. Let's call it is what it is. The top six is pretty much done. We can throw that out the window at this point. Top six again might not mean shit because three really good Premier League teams, and I am throwing Arsenal in as one of them, are still remaining in the 16 of Europa, and we all know how that goes. So depending on if whoever wins FA Cups, Europa, things like that, you could possibly lose that sixth spot from being a guaranteed European spot next year, just like what happened to Spurs on the final day by some things happening. So you need to get into the top five. Let's throw that out. Europa's still alive. You should absolutely beat Olympiacos if you're Arsenal.
You should.
I don't care. I don't care what the form is. I don't care. Like, you look at a team, even against Burnley. Burnley, as poor as they've been and as low in the table as they've been this year, are still a better team than Olympiacos. I mean, let's be real. The worst Premier League team should be a better team than the best Greek League team.
Right.
Or, you wouldn't be a Premier League team. You wouldn't have those players. With that being said, we've played Burnley twice this year. We've gotten 1 point. 1 point from one of the worst teams in the Premier League. Those extra 5 points that we should have, I told you pre-show, puts us level with Liverpool in 7th place. But we don't have those points.
playing down to competition.
And again, today, I'm not an excuse guy. Today we came out, we looked good. Off the jump, everything was moving. Thomas was healthy. Made a beautiful pass to Willian. Willian was healthy. Makes a beautiful pass to Aubameyang. You score a goal. You go up on Burnley 1-0 in the 6th minute. Then Bukayo Saka makes a beautiful play. The kid is unbelievable talent. I expect to watch him many, many, many years at Arsenal. I hope so. But he missed a finish. And one thing he's going to have to learn, he should have never worried about trying to finish that because he should have drew the contact. He should have went down in the box, and he should have drew the penalty. And again, I'm not a flip-flopper. I'm not a diver. But there are times when you got two guys diving at your legs in front of the goal and you just hop over them and still get a shot off, phenomenal. That's great. That's great athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how you get your team wins. Sometimes you got to grab that ankle and go. And make it a 2-0 game in a game that you have to win. You have to. And then you got the shirt on today, my friend. I was a VAR supporter long time ago. Fuck VAR. How do you not even check on a handball? Go look it. Go watch it. We get no love. No love. The ball hit his palm of his hand in the box, knocked it down. They never even checked it.
Mm-hmm. The VAR thing it's getting worse, I think, by the day. It's
money. It's an easy way to control outcomes. Because if you're going to do it or not going to do it, like, you got to get it right. You got to fix it. If you're going to use it, it's there to get things right, not when you want to or when it's convenient. There needs to be a higher power. It's got to be taken out of the ref's hands. It's not his call. Somebody needs to come down and say, hey, look, you messed up. This is what happened. Fix it. That's why you have VAR.
Yeah.
Video assisted review.
You got it for a reason. Use it. We've had this conversation a million times. Like, there's so much gray area. And even, not going back to the Liverpool-Chelsea match, but I'm sure Lord Walker is going to have something to say about, that handball on Conte, which, again, by the letter of the law, probably is a handball, and it should have been a PK, but you never know. You don't know. And then you go back to last week, terrible officiating for Lee Mason. And, oh, by the way, Lee Mason isn't refereeing this week because he has a calf injury.
Oh, of course.
That's what they came out and said.
Yeah, pulled up lane, huh?
A terrible display in that Brighton game where he blows his whistle, right? Louis Dunk takes the quick free kick. As the ball is about to roll in the net, he blows it again, saying that he started too soon. It's like, bro, you blew the whistle.
Right.
You blew the whistle.
Breathing? You didn't take it out of your mouth and you had to breathe? Like, that's your fault. Like, it's your job. You have one job.
It's one of those, like, he fucked up. He's like one of those where he blows the whistle, then he sees all the guys just kind of like standing around, like no wall was set up, and he's like, oh, it's too soon. It's like, no, you blew the whistle. That's your fucking fault.
Yeah, you said let's go. We went, and yeah.
But it's just, that's why I wore the shirt today.
And then in addition, Granit Xhaka. I don't know what to do anymore, man. I've defended the guy. I've thrown the guy off the team. I brought the guy back on the team. I've done everything I could for Granit Xhaka.
I'm surprised he's still on the team.
Listen, he has 8 mistakes leading to goals, which apparently is the most of any active Premier League midfielder in the last 4 to 5 years. I mean, he just makes boneheaded errors, and he looks like a Bundesliga midfielder. Like,
Hey.
he looks like a Greek league midfielder. He looks like a Turkish league midfielder. He looks like a Swiss league midfielder. He does not look like a premier. Other than having one of the best long-distance free kicks I've ever seen, he just, like, I don't know what else the guy offers, and I don't know what else we got to see. The guy's been with the club since, 2015, 16? Like, we've gotten rid of guys quicker for less.
You know what he is on the field. Like, he's a liability sometimes.
Yeah.
That's just him.
You cannot run out two liabilities in your starting lineup in Granit Xhaka and David Luiz week after week. And
that's a red card waiting to happen.
Yeah. A PK, a red card. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, and besides that beautiful free kick, of course, against Chelsea on Boxing Day, like... That's been Xhaka's season in a nutshell.
But that's what I say. He gets like two of those a year. Two of those come up a year. But you know what? There's a lot of other guys that can do that and give you a lot of other things as far as the game goes.
It's just funny. Like, I thought he should have been done when he tore off the captain's armband last year.
I begged and pleaded. Like I said, I would have wrote him.
What the fuck? I don't want this guy as my captain or even on my team.
But that's the problem with having a Kroenke. He probably doesn't even know what happened.
Probably not. That's what happens when your owner's like just chilling, worrying about like other things like building.
He's worrying about the Rams.
He's $1 billion stadium.
That's all that he's worried about.
Oh my god.
And his Colorado teams, his shitty Colorado teams that all suck.
Hey, the Avs aren't too bad.
They're decent this year. But like, he's just not the guy. We need a guy that cares. We need an owner that likes this, that even knows about this game, that loves this game.
Unfortunately, you get that in sports though. You get these rich nerds that know nothing about the game, have never played. They're just sitting up there throwing cash or not throwing cash.
But it's not even about that. It's like, do you really want to win? Like, it seems like you want to win on your other teams that you own, but then you came here and you're like, the English, they love this team. They're gonna spend money regardless of what I put on the field. But sooner or later, that's gonna end, man. We saw it with Red Bull.
It's like
people started. I wasn't the only one.
When things go bad, and when you have Stan Kroenke that just doesn't seem like he gives a shit that much, and he has so many other endeavors, it's like, all right. I think, like, he had Arsene Wenger, right? Like, all right, Arsene will take care of it. Like, he's a world-class manager. Like, he's been there. The club, everybody, the fans respect him. And now it's like you're just like a revolving door. You're starting to be like Chelsea and just like canning people for, doing nothing.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to come out and blame Arteta for this one, you could just not support Arsenal anymore because you're not watching the games and you don't understand. Because at the end of the day, the guy can't finish. He can't go out on the pitch and finish. It just, there's only so much he can do. He did when he played. His playing days are over, guys. Like, he's got to, somebody's got to step up. Somebody's got to do these things. Somebody's got to not make these stupid mistakes in the back. The guys he's brought in have all been good. I have to give him credit. Every guy that he's brought in so far pretty much has been good. I still don't understand why Gabriel's not playing. He's in the 18. I still don't understand this love for David Luiz unless that's coming from the top. Again, who knows? I don't know where that's coming from. Or be, just respect for a guy who's been around a long time, but like, I'm over that. I'm so over that.
I was going to say, seniority only goes so far.
Yeah. I was happy to see Callum Chambers play today, though. I'm a big Callum Chambers guy.
Never give up on him.
Respect. Yeah, he just gets hurt too much, but he can play everywhere. He started right back today. He can play center back. He can even play a CDM spot. Like, he's just a good utility guy to have on your team. And it was nice to see him actually get on the pitch. So, that was probably the only bright spot, but your boy Chris Wood takes advantage of a major mistake. levels the game up, and then it was just flat after that. There's not much to talk about after that. Unfortunately, the second half just didn't go at all the way I was hoping. So that's why we're here. That's why I'm just an Arsenal supporter. I got a lot of Europa games to watch, hopefully, and that's about it. I mean, I don't know. We don't have any other competitions left this year, and the Prem season's pretty much done for us. So 3-11. Big game against Olympiacos. We're the road team. Got to come out and not only win it, but get some road goals under the belt and hope to use that to advance. And that's all I got left at this point for this season. So.
Yeah, geez. I mean, again, like we mentioned last week, I think that the road for Arsenal is pretty promising with at least the draw that they got, plus some other teams, good teams, drew each other that are going to knock one, one's going to be done. So, I mean, you get past Olympiacos, you never know. Get into that final, what would be, we 16 in final 8 now.
16, so
that's right. They're a round ahead here. But yeah.
And again, I downplayed Olympiacos, but it's still no easy task. They knocked Arsenal out last year in the round of 32, so it's like, you guys got to step up. Somebody's got to do something here.
Yeah, you never know in those competitions who's going to come out and play. And are they allowing is Greece allowing teams from England to come in? Is that in Athens or no?
Hold on. I thought it was going to be at a neutral site, but let me double check that.
Because I know a lot of countries are like,
yes.
Nah.
Yeah, no, Greece is. It appears that is going to be in Greece, so we're okay. It's a true road game for this competition. So you got to go to Greece, and like I said, you come out with a draw, I'd be okay, but you got to get a road goal because that's what killed you last year.
Yep.
You ended up leveling goals with Olympiacos, but you lost on the road goals. So.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those where a true road game with fans is way different than an empty stadium. But still, At this point, it's really more the travel than anything. Traveling to Greece, getting there, practice, and you're just like, ugh. Then you're thinking about, we got to go back to London, play again in like 4 days. It's just like.
Well, and that's why at this point, like I said it, and I hate to be this way, but you pretty much got to not even stress the Prem. You want to run some guys out there that need some caps in the Premier League, do it. I'm okay with it. Experiment in the Premier League and go for the Europa win. That's all you could do at this point.
Yeah, because you're probably not going to finish top 4, but you're also going to be safe. Like you've got enough points. And there's enough bad teams where you're not like threatening relegation. So some guys that you need maybe to look at, maybe guys that are in their final year, like, is this worth re-signing them?
Maybe that's why we're seeing Luiz and Willian in these Premier League matches.
Could be an audition for another squad. You never know.
Yeah. I think we're pretty committed to Willian. I just hope they don't recommit to Luiz again. There's chatter that they might offer him another 1-year deal, and if that happens, I don't know what I'm going to do. My heart can't take another season of David Luiz in my back line. I can't.
That would just be the icing on the cake. Like, done. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, I'll still be there, but like my engagement of going out of my way to watch every moment is really going to take a hit if he's my center back next season.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of fans are with me, and I think that's what a guy like Kroenke needs to understand. It's like we're going to take so much as supporters of a team, but you're going to reach a point where it's just like, you know what? I still love the team. I still support the team. But I'll check the highlights if they win.
Right?
Like, that's where it's going to get to. So let's hope it doesn't get to that.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that position.
No.
There was another score alert. Che Adams did score for Southampton. It's now 2-0 to
Fantasy.
Southampton.
Fantasy points.
Yeah.
Forgot to set my lineup this week, but I know he's still in there. So
hey, maybe you'll have auto sub too.
Yeah, it's just bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's been fun so far.
No, it's been great. Some guys I wish were a little bit more engaged, but we'll, like every fantasy league, those guys get weeded out for the following season. No big deal.
Or you could be like Julio that wasn't able to draft his team, and then I don't think he's looked at it at all.
I don't think he's looked at it since, but that's okay. It's all right. I get it. There was no stakes involved, no money involved. You are going to miss out on a few nice prizes, though.
True. And also, I was one of those guys when I was sucking in the beginning, debating on just not even checking anymore.
He was going to mail it in.
I was going to be so done like 11 games in, and you're like, hey, a lot of time left. It's okay. I was scoring points, but I was just getting bad end of the draw and turned it around. Thank God. But
yeah.
All right, I guess before we bring Lord Walker on, maybe talk about some of these games. Do you want to do? I'm trying to think. Do you want to do Champions League or do you want to do Prem games for the weekend?
Maybe we'll leave Champions League for when he comes on, being that his team is still in it, and that's probably his only glimmer of hope, like mine's Europa. So
very true.
We'll save Champions League for him, and we'll just we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up here. The only other thing I did want to mention, because I have a feeling once he gets on, we'll never really get the opportunity to get there. You and I do have somewhat of a game to worry about today at 12:30. Good old Bayern Dortmund matchup.
The classic. I almost
unfortunately
a Dortmund jersey, but then I'm like, it's just going to be a bad game. I could just feel it.
I didn't wear my Bayern pants because they're in the dryer, so
it's not going to be good. I just know. I just know.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but Sancho and Gio are both out for this game too, so that's not going to help your cause.
And my boy Rafael Guerrero's out.
You know what? You were right about calling them out too on that post, because he is a very underrated left back, and he is a solid player for that Portugal team.
He's been a starting left back for them, the Portugal team. He was in the Euro. He was part of that squad.
Oh yeah. I threw Rui Patricio out there because he got no mention either, being that he was the starting goalie for that Euro Championship team.
I mean, he's been the starter for Portugal for like 10 years.
He gets no mention, but that's all right.
That's wild. That was a wild list. It's like Ronaldo. And just because Bruno Fernandes is making a name for himself, Bruno Fernandes, it's like he just came on the scene.
Yeah, he was not that good at Portugal.
I mean, we'll see. That's going to be fun.
I'd rather have, what is it, Quaresma, the one with face tattoos and neck tattoos. Yeah,
Ricardo Quaresma, who's supposed to be like the next Ronaldo.
Yeah,
not so much.
Nah, I'd take him in a street fight though.
Yeah, he looks pretty badass. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So we got we got two games later. 12:30 we got Villa versus Wolves. And then 3:00 we got Brighton hosting Leicester. Villa is one of those teams where I've noticed that they either get a 1-0 shutout or they're losing maybe like 2-0. It's just they're hot and cold. They're way too hot and cold. And I think Emi Martinez, obviously, he has probably he's got to be up there in clean sheets. But their scoring is just, who's the guy that's going to put the ball in the net?
Yeah, it's kind of, the scoring has kind of taken a step back for them, definitely.
It's just like, well, who's putting the ball? I mean, Bertrand Traore's had a great season.
Yeah. Jackie's just, he looks like the Jack Grealish we all know and love.
I mean, he can dribble past you. He's going to draw fouls, but as far as his scoring, not always there.
That super hot start has really helped them tremendously this year, though. I mean, you remember the first month and a half of the season, they were the best team in the league.
Yeah.
So, and they still are the only team that I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're the only team that has only played 25 games so far this year. So where everybody else is between 26 and some even have already played 28. So they're ninth in the table. They're still above Arsenal. They're above Leeds. They're above Wolves. They have some games in hand. So as much as it's been kind of a little roller coaster for them of recent, if you're a Villa fan, you got to be ecstatic after basically being on the edge of relegation last season and just squeaking by in those final couple weeks. Really, the second to last week on that 1-0 win against Arsenal is what put them over the top.
And
Wolves has been better.
And that goal that should have counted when that dude went in the net.
Yeah.
The goalie and ball were in the net, and they're like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again, VAR.
For some reason, VAR was the goal line.
It was off that day, yeah.
It was off. I don't know.
Camera wasn't working. Sorry, we never put that camera in. Our bad. What? So, but Wolves have stepped up. Wolves have been playing a little bit better. Again, it was getting a little dicey for them. We talked about that. A lot of competitions this year, playing in a few more things than that team was probably used to. Losing their big time scorers in Jota and then Jimenez with the injury. But they've been able to find a way to get, the ship steadied a little bit. They'll be fine. They're going to finish in the top 13, 14, work things out till next year. That should be an entertaining game, I would think.
Yeah.
Probably on the levels of a draw.
Yeah. I mean, Nuno's starting to put Adama Traore actually in the starting 11 now.
Yeah.
Which he's looked he's been looking a little more lively the recent, probably 3 weeks or so. He's been kind of a shell of himself this season. Whatever's going on, I don't really know. He's been in and out of the lineup, hasn't been starting a lot. But then recently, what was that one game he finally, and I don't even think it was credited to his goal. It just bounced off the back of the Leeds goalie after that strike he had on net. But they even were playing him in a false nine role.
Yeah. And I think sometimes a lot happened for that guy super fast. I mean, he went from being kind of a guy that was talked about, but no real, I wouldn't say he had any signs of being a star. And then last year, boom, he really bulks up. He breaks on the scene. He's leading the Wolves in every way possible. He's the catalyst for that team. He finally gets a Spain call up, which is an incredibly tough team to break into, the Spanish national team. Your head's got to be
yeah.
Sometimes for guys, they need to almost be brought back down to earth a little bit. Not saying that's what happened. I don't know, if he's the kind of guy where you got maybe overly confident, a little cocky, or if it was just a lot going on and it was he wasn't used to that level of training and being pulled in every directions, because now you got to train with your club and your national team, and you're kind of all over the place, and it's kind of some newfound fame for the kid. So I think, things have probably settled down. He's got the right coach to kind of keep him level.
Yeah.
And he's starting to bounce back and show signs of what he looked like last year. So
yeah, I'm sure it was a little bit of tough love too, because Nuno probably, I could see him, sitting him down for a little bit and saying, hey man, we need you, especially with, Raul out and Jota being sold to Liverpool. It's we need you this year. We need you to step up. And maybe he's a great piece to the puzzle, but is he that main piece? I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, most wingers are not.
Yeah.
Because usually those wingers are so talented on the ball and are quick and whatever. But if they were that guy, they would have established it at a younger age and probably ended up more as like a cam or somewhere in there. Those are the guys that usually become your leaders. So usually once they've ventured out to those wings, in my opinion, they're not necessarily a locker room leader as much.
Right. Yeah. So. But again, they're going to do just enough to stay up and be fine.
Yeah. We're at a point now, and it's unfortunate because of what City's doing, and congratulations to them. They've really righted the ship as well because they were having some major issues. Mm-hmm. And we're getting into that part of the season where our biggest things are going to be top 4 race, bottom 3 race, and the championship, and see who's coming back and who's going bye-bye, which I'm okay with. Sometimes that's even more exciting, unless your team's one of the ones competing for the championship, I guess.
You're as a Sheffield fan, you're pretty much like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, Sheffield and West Brom, outside of some miracles, they're pretty much done. It's going to be a Fulham, Newcastle, Brighton battle to the bottom again.
Newcastle's not safe by any stretch.
They're 3 points. Yeah, they're 3 points ahead of Fulham. That's it.
The funny part is
Brighton has slipped too.
Yeah, they've been pretty terrible as well. Honestly, I feel like Brighton's going to do just enough, like they always do. They'll get a couple draws when other teams are losing, and they'll just stay up above the line. At Newcastle, it's a goddamn mess. You got Matty Ritchie fighting or getting into an altercation with Steve Bruce in training this week. Do you see that?
How much longer is Steve Bruce have a job?
The fans were pissed that they brought him in over instead of bringing back Rafa Benitez.
Yeah.
And it's still
Rafa's available, isn't he? He's not.
Oh,
is he anywhere? I don't think he's anywhere.
I think he might be actually coaching somewhere.
Is he somewhere? But Matthew, thanks for joining us, but your opinion sucks. And Spurs are shit. Fuck Spurs.
That was me.
Well, you're welcome anytime. You're always welcome every time. What are they winning? What are they winning? Europa? Is that what they're winning?
Hey, I could see that.
You're pumped up because Gareth Bale put in a meaningless goal in a 4-0 win against a really bad team. That's what's driving you to think that they're going to win the league this year? What are they winning? I just want to know. Like, he said they're going to win this year. What are they winning? I'm just asking. Love you. Damn. He said damn.
Yeah, you just came at him real hot.
Do you not see what's behind me? Like, do you expect anything less? I wouldn't be if I gave you any bit of love. I appreciate you being here. I like that you have confidence in your team. I always have confidence in my team. I just want to know what he meant by what they're going to win. That's all.
Well, they're not winning the title. The Premier League.
No, they're definitely not winning the Prem. What are they? 40. Yeah, they're 20. They're 23 points behind City.
No, yeah, that's not happening.
Dude, that gap is 14 points. How is that gap 14 points between City and United? When did that happen?
When City just won 20 straight in all competitions.
Wow. Man.
We were talking about in the beginning Pep on the hot seat. Remember they were struggling?
Yeah. They were struggling. Yeah, they were struggling. And, it helps when you get your little slap on the wrist and you don't get thrown out of European competition and you pay minimal fines and your transfer window stays wide open and you can add Ruben Diaz and you can add pieces, that have definitely helped the team. And, Laporte did get healthy. John Stones broke up with his chick. So
Ruben Diaz and John Stones apparently just are the greatest center back pairing of all time because they've been winning. I think they won what was it? It's a ridiculous amount of. They had like 15 or 16 clean sheets or something like that.
Yeah.
Like what?
It's crazy.
That's true. I'm not a huge soccer guy. I watch more of the Union than Premier League. There's a time difference, but mostly watch Liverpool and Spurs. Spurs.
Oh, perfect. Hey, like I said, bro, we love you and we love having you. I didn't mean to come at you, but when you throw Spurs on this show, you got to take your lumps, as anybody else will tell you or find out. The fact that you're a Union guy is awesome. You're in the right market for it. Adam's a monster Union guy. We're happy to have you here. You will be more than invited to join us when MLS kicks back off and we head over to a Union game. I am a Red Bull guy, but I have no problem stepping foot into what is now Subaru Park?
Subaru, yeah.
Subaru Park. So, yeah, I mean, that's in the plans going forward here. MLS is around the corner if everything can stay on the up and up in this country. So let's hope and pray that it does. I'm actually looking forward to my team for the first time in about 2 years as well. So
it's always exciting the first few weeks, and then it's like, well, we'll see what happens the rest of the way.
Yeah. In any sport, man, it doesn't matter how good or bad you think your team's going to be. The first few weeks are the best because everybody's back at zero, and you could come out hot and things could be really great, or you could come out ice cold and it's like, damn, I waited 6 months for this.
Yep.
So
disappointment.
Yeah.
Too many years of that.
Yeah, man.
I was listening to Sidebar on the Union. I was listening to Mark McKenzie has a podcast with former player Heath Pierce. And they were talking, they had Timmy Weah on this week. And Timmy Weah was saying that he almost joined the Union Academy before he went to Europe. Can you imagine Timmy Weah on that Union squad?
I might have became a Union fan.
Bombing down the wings.
Yeah, man. His brother just got a call somewhere, too.
Yeah, Minnesota, right?
I think so, yeah. I think that's where it was.
The Loons.
So
Yeah.
not to dig into MLS either, but since we're talking about it real quick, I do want to just give a little credit so far. Again, I haven't seen how it's going to transfer onto the field. But the director of sport for the Union has hit his basically just over a 1 year anniversary. He was the former Wolves guy. And it seems that he's brought a little bit of, aspirations to maybe win again back to Red Bull. They've added some pieces. They just added most recently a youth international in Cameron Harper from Celtic. So that was kind of exciting to see a U.S. kid into our thing. They added a couple guys on loan from Red Bull Salzburg. So what I begged of this organization to do, and not just take our guys and move them to Europe, but maybe take some guys from Europe and bring them here, looks like it's actually happening. They moved on from Tim Parker, like we've talked about, and added this kid Reyes, a nice young center back. So we'll see. Again, we talked about I'm going to be hyped up, and we start off ice cold, and things might change. So.
I'm telling you, it gets exciting for that first week, and then you're like, oh, this shit performance? God damn it.
Yeah, but we will do, probably last show of March, first show of April, we will do a MLS preview / whatever we do for that. So definitely, Matt, keep continuing to join us. We appreciate having you, and that'll be a good time if you're a Union guy to absolutely check us out, because we like to break down the MLS, especially Union and Red Bull.
Hell yeah. It's exciting.
So,
I'm excited. I want to go back. Rafa Benitez just left a club in China at the end of January. He was at Dalian Pro in the Chinese Super League, but he left because of COVID, it said.
Well, maybe he'll be getting a phone call.
Apparently, his name was in the running for the Bournemouth job. Is that still available? They didn't choose anybody yet?
Yeah, because Thierry Henry stepped away. He didn't leave. Apparently, there was some family and health things going on, and he's pretty much just stepped down.
Right.
Does that mean he stepped down to eventually take that job? Possibly, but from what I've heard, it's still an open position. So,
not that I don't know who would want to take over the Cherries at this point, but hey.
Well, that's what I was gonna. I haven't looked at that table in a while, so I'm just gonna pull it up real quick while we're
Sure.
talking. I just want to see where that table is, because, like I said, we're getting to that point where that's going to be one of the more exciting races to watch.
You're table watching big time.
We still got Norwich sitting in first at 73 points. Watford has climbed back up to second at 66 points. The old Bees from Brentford will do what the Bees from Brentford always do and get into that playoff and probably lose it. They're sitting in third at 63. Swansea USA is sitting in fourth at 62, but Swansea does have 2 games in hand. And then the rest are kind of pulling up. Reading at 57 and Bournemouth in 6 at 55 points. So that Bournemouth job probably isn't so enticing if you're not getting out of the championship.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to jump on and, try and get them to in that playoff and maybe. Right.
Is it 3 through 6 play the playoff? Is that how it goes? So 1 and 2 are guaranteed in, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6 play a playoff, and the winner of that is the third team to move in. So
it's like, good news. We're going to see the Canaries. Norwich will be back next year. It seems like
it's certainly looking that way. Now they do play a little bit longer of a season, so they're already at their 34th, 35th some games for those guys, but they play into the 40s, I believe. So
it's literally the same team as last year, and it really, on paper, isn't that bad. Like, this year, Buendia is, killing it.
Yeah.
Every time I check the box score for Norwich, it's like, Buendia.
Yeah.
Buendia. I'm like, the guy had 2 good weeks last year and then just fell off a cliff and didn't do shit for the rest of the season.
And they are currently playing right now in the 73rd minute, and they're up 3-0. Timo with the brace and Hot Toddy with a goal. Yeah, so.
My man's Toddy can't.
Good old Hot Toddy.
Hot Toddy.
So it looks like the Canaries will probably 100% be rejoining us. So that's fantastic.
That's fun.
Yeah. We'll enjoy you for the 8 months that you're here.
I was going to say, and do the same thing.
Got to buy somebody this time. You're going to have to add this time.
I kind of want to talk about Sunday, and I'm sure Lord Walker might have something to say about this game too, but the Manchester Derby.
Yeah.
It's one of those where I feel like United's been on a little bit of a cold streak. Even though they're sitting pretty right now, as good as you could get, right? They're sitting in second, United.
Yeah.
By 14 points, but at this point, City, it doesn't matter who they roll out there, they're winning. And the way that Gundogan has played MVP style through this little run that they've had is, I think, one of the reasons why they're doing so well, besides the John Stones. And Ruben Diaz is, apparently, if you buy a Portuguese guy and bring him over, apparently they're going to be really good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Pedro Neto for Wolves has been fantastic this year, too.
A lot of these Portuguese guys seem to play well into the Prem. I mean, that should tell you something. I would probably be in these Portuguese scouting and looking to bring some of these guys in if I'm some of these other Prem teams, because it seems to be working on most levels.
Yeah, seems like it. But yeah, I would think that the way City's been playing, that there's just probably no shot that United even has a chance in this one.
United's biggest issue, their biggest issue is they've left too many points on the table. They've drawn too many games. The Everton draw, the West Brom draw, the Palace draw. when you're that far behind City, you're just like, unfortunately for all of us, honestly, if City wins this game, just
give them the trophy.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be so clear at that point.
I mean, it's pretty much like they would have to have an epic collapse to even to give anybody else a shot. And I don't even see United making a push. I don't see Leicester making any push. I don't see Chelsea unless maybe they, keep staying hot, but that would mean City would have to lose a shit ton of games.
I think these teams, all outside of City, are this run for those 3 spots is going to be probably the most exciting thing that we end up getting all year.
Yeah. Even West Ham. I mean, shit.
Yeah. They're only 6 points. They're only 6 points behind United with an extra game. So
I could see West Ham getting that Europa spot. I think they're a good enough team this year that'd be warranted.
Everton's still coming. I mean,
Everton's good. Richarlison apparently is awoken because he's been scoring a lot. I mean, their defense, Pickford, after people were talking shit on him and saying that he should be replaced, they bring in that Robin Olsen guy, light a little fire. He's been great.
He has been.
Jordan, since the struggles.
Honestly, I think injuring a guy like Van Dijk on a play like that can get into your head. It can, it can. Nobody goes out there with the intent to hurt a guy. No. With possibly, not saying Van Dijk's injury's career end, but it's one of those long injuries that you got to fight back, and so sometimes that gets in your head. Now it's like, now you're questioning, do I come out? Do I don't come out? Like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to. So for a couple of weeks there, it looked like he was struggling with that. But since then, like you said, since bringing in the Swedish national team goalkeeper and Olsen and a guy that could push you, it's done the right thing and pushed him to work harder. And he's been a solid goalkeeper.
And he needs to be going into the Euros too, because we've talked about this all the time, that the goalkeeper pool for England is young and really good.
Yeah.
With Nicky Pope and Dean Henderson, just waiting in the wings for any slip up for Jordan. Like, he thinks he has that number 1 shirt, and it's not as secure as it once was.
No. So. Will Walker said no big game this year has been worthy of its billing. He's right. And I knew that was coming.
Oh, yeah. He can't. Well, any Everton player, but he can't stand him. And rightfully so. If you injured my best player like that, I'd probably be pretty pissed. And the fact that there was no card, no anything, like, it was like a normal play, just went on, and you just destroy the guy's knee. Not laughing at the injury, but.
And to that comment, I need my goalie a little reckless, to be honest with you. To be a goalie, you have to be a little bit reckless. You can't just know that these guys are shooting these balls at your face super hard and not have that recklessness to you. Or you got to come out on a 50-50 ball and there's a chance you're going to get a boot in your face if you dive down for that ball, and you have to be willing to accept that. So I prefer to have a little recklessness in the goalie.
I think there's a difference between being reckless and just having command of your box.
Yeah.
In your goal. Like, you don't want to be Kepa and numbnuts and be in no man's land half the time. You want to have some sense of oh, should I come? Should I go? Should I not? You don't want to be indecisive of a goalie because you're going to get burned. But I don't mind. I don't mind the recklessness. That was a little too reckless, but it's such a bang bang play. Like, it's a fast sport. Like,
Yeah.
it's terrible that it happened because I do like Van Dijk, and I don't shit on him on purpose. Like, he is the best defender in the world when he's actually healthy. But it happened.
It's over.
It's over.
Move on. It's months now.
It's tough. And
Walker always edits himself.
Oh yeah, as I'm literally wearing a shirt that says "fuck" on.
Sorry.
My dad's like, I don't like that shirt. I'm like, shh. I wear what I want.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. Unless Tom says don't wear that anymore, then I won't.
I doubt you'll get that from Tom. That might be the only soccer shirt Tom would ever own.
Hey, go to those B word guys, and it's on their store.
Yeah. Speaking of, we do have to acknowledge some of our sponsors here.
Yes, I keep forgetting. I'm like, once we get rolling, I just like lose my train of mentioning our wonderful sponsors every week. This is week number 2 in a row that I've sucked at.
That's all right. I got them in last week. We got them in there. So
I'm not following the the protocol. And apparently last night I fudged up too. I had my Mason Mount thing. I accidentally put it for the show. I think. Steve
you owe Steve an apology on his athlete spotlight that he's been doing because his background.
He's probably mad. But was Mason Mount going?
It was a great interview, so they fixed it. Ralphie said 15 minutes. It was about 8 because I watched the show. It was only about 8 minutes. It was up there. He over-exaggerated with the 15, but yes.
Oh no!
It did make its way into there. So
I just wanted to be fun. I wanted to spice the show up, and I thought I was looking for it to be something cool. And I fudged up.
Well, it saved. It wasn't supposed to save. It was supposed to be on our technology.
Oh no. Oh well.
Well, you know what?
What's up, Mark? How are you?
Sometimes things happen because you're not thinking clearly, but you know what helps you think clearly? All the good stuff from Body Check Wellness.
Good segue.
Wonderful line of products. Brings you balance, recovery. For me, who's been back in the gym now going on 3 weeks, better watch out, boys. I'm not going to let this last side of 40 get to me.
Mr. Studio Girl.
Gonna keep myself in shape, so socially distancing, working out. Somehow, grinding out cardio with a mask on. Don't ask me how, but for those of you who are, in the gym or exercising, or even if you can't and you just want to keep your body well, the guys at Body Check, definitely check them out. They're guys who have played at the highest level of sports in this country, so they know what it takes to get themselves back and re-energized to go again. You got the extracts, the blends, the gummies, the topicals we've talked about. Got a promo code here. Riley Cote.
He was on the Hockey Happy Hour, 10 o'clock Thursday, every Thursday, 10 o'clock, the boys, Maddie, Poe, and Daly coming on. They had Riley Cote on for an interview. Fantastic insight from him.
So for all you Flyers fans or just hockey fans in general, that's another great show on A2D to watch. As we keep telling you guys, there's great shows every day in every time slot on A2D's platform now. It's just getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, definitely, throw the promo codes in there. Everything that we advertise comes with a promo code. A2D obviously is the promo code on this one. 20% off your entire order. So you can't go wrong there.
That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good.
Even if you're new to some of the stuff and you just want to try it for 20% off, it's definitely worth some samples. Get yourself a few things and see. It'll really make the difference. And we talk about the power of hemp, man. It's been pushed aside for years and years now, but it's finally becoming the norm. And it really does have some benefits. So definitely check those guys out as soon as you have the opportunity.
Absolutely. and always our specialized physical therapy, the good doc, Paul Vidal. He has 2 locations, like we said, Burlington, Cherry Hill. He is sponsored. That is our throat sponsor. I can't speak. You go to specializedphysicaltherapy.com. You can do a video consultation if you're not comfortable with going in. But he is also, I saw, doing some baseline testing, I think, for the upcoming like baseball season coming up, soccer, whatever sport you're going to be playing in the fall or spring or summer. He's basically doing like a little assessment of, you know, if you're doing certain things correctly, stretching, hitting, or throwing, if you're throwing correctly or incorrectly. You don't want to be doing something that's going to cause long-term injury. You want to fix that ASAP so you're not, you know, getting into the more serious stuff like surgery.
Doc will tell you the importance of stretching.
Doc is the GOAT. He's the best.
Yeah,
he comes on shows sometimes. He's very knowledgeable.
I don't think people understand the importance of stretching, man. Like, again, I told you about it. I'm 39. I'm 39 years old. And I've been a lump for the last few years. But when you get in there and you stretch first, it really increases your ability to work out and increases your flexibility. And it increases your chances of not injuring yourself. To where, you know, maybe the doc wants you a little banged up because that's going to put a few bucks in his pocket. At the same time, he does care and he wants everybody, you know, to stay healthy and be good through all this. So
I said, if I had a doc like him growing up, like I probably threw the baseball terribly. Like if I threw a baseball right now, I think my elbow would just fall right off, like Tommy John ASAP.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I feel it right now. I just picked up a bottle of water.
Just like, But yeah, he is our doc. Make him yours. He's the best. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. Check him out. Should we bring Lord Walker in here?
I mean, I don't see
anything else you have.
No, we've touched on MLS. We've touched on Bundesliga. We know where we're at with the Prem at this point. So, he said reckless is unacceptable. Our definition of reckless is different. That's all.
He has a lot of slander and says Everton are dirty and reckless. I think you just say that because you don't like them. But you're going to come on here and defend yourself, so and probably tell me to kick rocks, most likely.
Stop hating on that and Aaron Ramsdale. I like Aaron Ramsdale.
But yeah, I'll send him the show linky.
Good. We'll get him on here.
Anything
where
else?
We at? No, just scrolling through. We said we're going to leave Champions League open till he gets in, so we'll deal with that when he gets here. Same thing with Europa. I'm not going to go crazy on Europa. I already talked about Arsenal. It's really what I care about at this point. I don't know if anybody else wants to discuss. Eddie's not here, so we can avoid the Ranger talk right now. I haven't seen much of Eddie, so.
Eddie.
He said this is Premier League, not the Sunday League.
I saw Eddie was watching a little bit. He said he's in Facebook jail. I was reading our group chat.
Oh.
He would have commented, but he's in Facebook jail, he said.
Well, you can go on YouTube and comment. You can go on Twitch and comment. Again, like, subscribe, A2D, Kickin It Stateside, all social medias. There's no excuse. It's literally a button. Tom says it before every show. It's a freaking button. Hit the button. Like, that's all we ask. We love you guys. We love the support. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. And if you really want to, share it too. We'd appreciate that.
It doesn't hurt.
It really doesn't. Like, I'll support you. You want to sell, smell goods. You want to sell whatever. Everybody's out there hustling your little small businesses right now. This is a small business for us as well. Hopefully it becomes big business. That's why we're here. We love you guys. We'll support you. You support us. One hand washes the other.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, right? Is that the saying?
You scratch my back, I'll rub your feet.
Woo! Not me. I don't like feet.
I'm just like a bear. There he is. Look, thanks. I didn't know that. My man.
It's like, there are multiple ways to get in touch.
Yeah, those little things next to everybody's name, it shows where they're watching. So that's technology.
I love the YouTube and Twitch love. We always have like a random guy from like the UK. Oh no, Rangers.
Yeah, no, yeah. Talk about a league that's over. I mean, we could just that league's been over since December. Come on.
Mail it in.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Lord Walker has joined us. What up?
What up?
How's it going?
Nothing like me getting him riled up on a Saturday morning. It's usually the other guy, but I think I got him going this morning a little bit. So just in perfect timing.
Yeah, for sure.
I do it for the show.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Absolutely.
It's the topic of conversation in probably all of soccer right now is the Liverpool woes. Your boys have lost 5 in a row at home for the first time in club history.
Right.
You see what's over his shoulder? I see what he did here.
Yeah.
His intelligence isn't.
No one should
Yes.
against me today, and I'm wearing a goalie jersey, by the way. So
love it.
So representing my goalies.
Yeah, I hung the USA kit back.
The non-record.
Yeah.
We don't like those.
I meant more. Listen, let me defend myself before I let you defend anything.
Okay.
My definition of reckless was not reckless in the fact that you're just going to go out and not worry if you hurt somebody. I meant reckless a little bit up here, as in like no brain, no pain, no fear. Like you can't be.
Fearless is a better word.
Yeah, fearless. Thank you. That's a better word. Fearless in my goalie, not reckless in my goalie.
Right. I would love a fearless goalie because you got to be fearless to go across when you're dealing with crosses or you have people bearing down on you. Absolutely, you have to be fearless. I mean, I'm a former goalie myself, but reckless, that's a different story. Reckless when you know that every and any time you go in there, your knees, your ankles are prime targets. And there are people that play like that. Let's get it real. I mean, I know we've all played in the Sunday league here or there with that one guy or one guy or a couple guys that just don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. They will come at you. And it's one of those things where it's just like, everybody's looking to go home like without any injury. I'm not saying that no one wants to get injured, but still, reckless and fearless are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
We almost got into a fist fight in our last indoor game, so you don't have to tell. I know all about my Sunday, guys.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, my team was playing really poorly and had no heart. So what does the coach do at 39 years old? Puts himself on the pitch, one-on-one with the goalie, chips the goalie, gets the goal. Let's go, baby. Wow. Let's go. We still lost 7-5, but one way to get your team going is to get into that game and show them that you can hustle.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Damn.
You got to show heart. You got to show
maybe
heart.
Maybe that's what Frank Lampard should have done. Just subbed himself in the game. Maybe that would have saved his job.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Might have.
You never know. Maybe he's still.
All right. So let's get down to business because obviously, we're not as long on time as we can be, and you're welcome on any time. But we brought you on with a reason today. There's a bit of an agenda today. There's it's beyond defending. It's not a defending day. We've done that already. We have a poll question. I made the poll question with Adam last night. We discussed it.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
And I want to, in case you didn't hear in the beginning, I'm not even worried about the top 4. It's more, are you getting back to Champions League next year? So you have 2 ways to do that. You can get your top 4 spot, or you can just put everything you got left and try to win it and get your free berth back next year.
Absolutely.
So are you getting there?
I believe so. And why I say I believe so is because I also know that despite losing 5 games at home, despite some of the form that we've had lately, champions are champions, man. I mean, I can't state that enough. I mean, all of our squads have been in places where we've held the crown, we've or the belt, however you want to put it, and we've seen some of those same teams play pretty poorly, the very next year, if not a year later or 2 years later. We all go through our spouts and our runs, but realistically, it's all about finding that spark. It's all about finding that one little spark that you go on that run and you get some results, some good things go your way, and all of a sudden we're having a different conversation. I mean, not many people, I don't think really that many people thought that Tottenham was going to make the Champions League finals. Let's be honest. Yet they caught something during that streak. And, all these players are just all of a sudden playing such tremendous ball, and they got the results, and they end up in the final. And despite losing the final, I understand that no one wants to be second place. That's still an accomplishment. That's still something that you can say, hey, that bar is here now, and we can raise it further. We can go that one extra step. We've been to this spot now. At least we see the door. Let's open it. Let's go through it. So I think that there's a definite chance that, and that's why I strongly disagree, because I'm sure if you're Chelsea or your Gunners were in this position, you would say the same. You'd say, "Oh, I disagree," simply because you're a supporter. So as a supporter, you're going to want to see your team perform. And
now are you looking at it more in the window of you're going to have to win Champions League though?
No.
So you're still
top 4 finish.
Still
I believe
fighting.
You saw the results last week, right? You saw the results from last week.
Yeah.
As in you saw the teams that drop points. You see some of these teams that are ahead of us that are getting draws or losing. And if there's nothing I could say about this season that says, oh, we consistently are going to have this, or we can, other than Man City obviously pulling form as of late, there's been no real consistent form that you've seen from any team in this league.
100%.
It's true.
I'm not going to say that my team is playing well right now, because we have not been playing well to get results at least. But I still believe that we can find something, and because you know why? I still believe we have the best coach in the world. I still believe that we have some of the best players in the world. And that is a difference from, say, your Burnleys, or like your Sheffield Uniteds, or, teams like that. You can't say, well, this or that. I'm so reliant on this or that player. No, I understand that we have some great players, and we should be pulling results. And that's goes against the whole. I do have a whole spiel about exceptions or excuses, however people look at them, right? Explanations more so, as I say. But no, I really think that that's a difference. And that's where we're going to prove that difference. And that's something that I really believe in.
Yeah. I mean, I still think you'll make the top 4, because I see nothing from the teams ahead. Again, talking about consistency, like Leicester did the same thing last year. They're sitting pretty, and then the last 2 months of the season, they totally fell off and had to settle for Europa League,
which you benefited from, basically.
Yeah.
Because realistically, without Leicester doing what they did, you possibly might have not seen top 4. You know, like as in you would have been looking at Europa, or maybe grabbing onto that final 4th spot.
Yeah,
so,
not even. Because they came down to the last game of the season to determine that. But West Ham too. It's like West Ham hasn't been in that position in forever. to say that they're going to fight for a Champions League spot. So, and same thing with Everton. The only thing that's concerning is, like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, like every week I'm saying, like, all right, Liverpool's they're gonna turn the corner, they're gonna right the ship, and they haven't. So that's a little concerning to me.
And I can be in full agreement with that. That is something I can be in full agreement with. And that can be disappointing because I know for a lot of fans and a lot of supporters, they'll automatically say, we're such a reactional fan base, not talking about Reds. I mean, fan base in general for all teams. I think all teams are such a reactional fan base that as soon as something happens, you win one, you win two, and all of a sudden, we're back, baby, we're back. We're going. I mean, if there's no better example of that, you would have to say is Manchester United. When Man U was at the top of the league, you could not go 2 seconds without hearing 21 is coming. 21 is coming. And it's like, you look at the table now, between the gap between second and first is starting to get to the levels of what last year was for Liverpool and the rest of the table.
Yep.
It's 14 points.
Exactly.
It's 14 points.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some honor guards where, teams line up and you walk through because they're going to be the champion select. That's where we're at. And that's what I'm trying to get across is that, like, you can say what you really want when it comes to, oh, well, it's done and dusted, or, oh, well, we got this result or that result. It's a game by game thing that you have to go by. I know that one thing that I noticed is a difference is that last year, despite us being on that historic run, I remember Hendo and would say, in interviews, we're just looking at the next game. We're focused on the next game. We're not focused on when we're going to win the championship or win this league. We're not focused on, 3 games down the line. We play that big rivalry or that big Merseyside, rivalry game or whatever it was. He was always focused on whatever game was at hand, whatever game was up next on the bill. That's the game we focused on. And that's where and what I would love to see this team get back to. I think that a lot of the distractions between whether it's the media, whether it's and I don't say the media as in like I'm trying to pick on the media. I'm just saying the media needs headlines. The media needs people to tune in, so they're going to pick and prod at anything they can to get people to go, oh, I need to see this, or, oh, I need to hear that. But realistically, these players need to understand that they are champions and that they are able to go on a run, because those things don't just all of a sudden vanish like thin air. Like as in there's going to be a case where you're going to come across some adversity, and whether you step up or not is the true nature of a champion. So I believe we can do it.
This is where I give him credit, and this is where if it's going to turn around, it's got to turn around now. And I don't know if you were with us earlier in the show, but I mentioned it to Adam. This is the first time, and obviously I'm not like you as far as deep into Liverpool, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time that I remember since he's been the head of this team, other than maybe when he first took over, that he's now put his players on the forefront. He's come out and he said, if you are only here to play Champions League, you can walk out the door.
Yeah.
Because there is more than just that. And he does not like this disrespect and this drop in the Premier League. And I think he's finally lighting this fire under the players to where he's taken it all in. He's absorbed it. And that's what a good manager should do. Put it on my shoulders. I'll handle it. I'll handle the media. I'll make excuses, or I'll make, tell you why we're having these issues. But now he's finally come out and said, look, it ain't me. It's right. You guys. You guys have to want it. You have to go out there. And just because we're not playing in the final 8 for Champions League and we're playing a mid-table team in the Premier League, you got to show the same energy. Like that famous line nowadays, bring the same energy, You should be bringing it no matter who you're playing. And that's what drives me crazy with Arsenal. They do the same thing. That energy against Leicester to win a 3-1 game, or that energy to fight back against Benfica to advance, was not the same energy they brought both times this year against Burnley. And they've dropped 5. I said, if those 5 points for Arsenal, we're tied with Liverpool right now if you get your 6 points like you should get out of Burnley.
Yep.
But you didn't.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I give him credit. And that's where I'm teetering on this poll question now, because it's like when a manager puts his players on the stage and calls out his players and asks them to perform, that's when you're going to see what these guys are made of. That's when you're going to see who the champions are.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. And you're going to just see the true nature of the, you know, with the gravitas that anyone uses, I'm sure, you know, you're going to really see what it is. You know, I had a really, really great conversation with the supporter club. You know, I go to Crown Public House in Phoenix, and we all meet there, and we're with, you know, dozens, if not, you know, dozens, you know, of supporters. I mean, now it's definitely the numbers have dissipated somewhat, but we still come out. The loyalists still come out, and we were talking about something way back. We're talking about 2005 actually, when we played Milan, AC Milan, and we were down in that game, and we were down that game pretty bad, like guys. And I remember in our group chat, I think Eric asked, you know, what was like one of your favorite, what's the most memorable game, or what was one of the games that you can remember that was your favorite game that you've ever seen. And that was one of my favorite games I've ever seen, because that game, we were out of it. And the story that I've heard and the story that we talked about at the supporter club was the one that Steven Gerrard said, Stevie said in the locker room, he gave a speech to his teammates. Now, you know, Rafa said some inspiring words himself and everything, but it was Stevie. And this is what Cisse said, at least. He said it was Stevie's words that really made the difference. I don't have a good Scouser accent, but I mean, basically at halftime they were singing "You Never Walk Alone." You could hear this. You could hear the crowd, despite the fact that we were down so miserably against an AC Milan team that was stacked of players. Okay. And he goes, "Do you hear that? Do you hear that out there? I would die for this. I would die for them. I would die for this city." And he inspired this amazing comeback, saying how we're going to go out there. We score first goal. We are going to come back and win this game. And this is lore again. He scores the header. And all of a sudden, like that, change. It only takes a spark. It hurts us that we don't have Hendo. It hurts us that we don't have even Van Dijk, like you said earlier. Because those players are players that, like you said, the backbone, which I completely agree, or the heart, which I completely agree again, of this team are those two players. But if we just catch a spark, change can happen. And I really honestly believe that. And, you know, that's going to be a real difference maker come this game, because let's be honest with you, Fulham, we've talked about before when I used to tune in, I used to say how, in my opinion, I think Fulham is, you know, the original American FC in England. Okay. And no matter whether you like them or not now, yeah, it's tough to root against them because I don't want to see them go down simply for those reasons. But Fulham is a team that's found their form. Fulham's a team that that I don't think deserves to be in the place that they're in right now, considering they've lost some pretty decent, pretty tough games, tough matches. And I really believe that, hey, you know, it's tough. It's really tough being a Liverpool fan right now to be, you know, confidently saying we're going to smash this team or smash that team. But
it has to happen.
It has to
Yeah.
happen. It has
to happen. This is it. This is the week. You want that spark.
You want the confidence. I mean, like I said in the earlier, like Mane got in some really good positions against Chelsea. And some of those probably, if he's in form, he might put away. But he just lacks a little bit of confidence for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it just looks like it's like one of those where you're losing a lot. And in any sport, in hockey or baseball, maybe you're holding the bat, you're not hitting well, you're holding the bat a little too tight, you're a little tense. Like, I feel like that's what's going on with him. He's just thinking a little too much instead of just actually anticipating.
I'll give you that. Yeah, that's a great.
There's a trickle down effect in sports like that. You know, over time, you start to lose a couple. Everybody's confidence kind of takes a hit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Karius, for instance, there's a reason why he couldn't find his way back to this team, because Karius is not a bad goalie. No. I'm not going to say he's a bad goalie. He just unfortunately found poor form at the wrong time, and the fact of how it haunts you is going to last with you forever. Hey, I've been in that position. I play basketball too, and I've stepped to the line and missed free throws. It still sticks in my mind today, and those free throws were the reasons why we ended up losing the game. There's other factors, but I mean, hey, I could
but at that moment, I
didn't. And going forward with that, either there's those players that can erase those things and act like it's a clean sheet no matter what, or there's those players that it stays with. And with goalies, and unfortunately, whether you're dealing with hockey, whether you're dealing, especially in soccer as well, you're going to have situations where people or those players aren't able to just move on from it. It lingers, and that's something that you never want to see.
Yeah, I mean, mentally, it's tough. I mean, you're the difference between a win or a loss half the time with your goalkeeping. It's probably the most important part of ball with the net type sports, hockey, like you said. Right. You got to be able to shake it off too, because you're going to get a lot of opportunities to touch the ball, and you may let one in, but you can't let that affect you. And them come down and shoot the next time down when they're coming down on your field, and you're letting in two right off the bat. You got to put that out of your mind. And some can't handle it. Some are small-minded. You see that all the time. Some can't handle it in a big moment.
And they can't, and it happens and everything else. I know it was short on time because I did have a bunch of stuff that I definitely wanted to share with you guys, because I've got some definite I watched Jesus and Mero, and they always about I got some hot goss, as they say, but I got some like insider goss that I got earlier this week, and I also definitely wanted to touch on the game as well. I mean, the Liverpool Chelsea game that you were able to discuss earlier without a Liverpool person with you, and but I'm not going to take away the victory, because that victory you definitely deserved. You played better than us. You deserved the win. That's something I'm not going to, or I should say, you got the win. And why I say you got the win is simply because I don't know where this league is anymore when it comes to decisions in officiating. Because the one thing I've said in our chat group is we have the only thing that's consistent is the inconsistency of officiating, of VAR, of making rules. Tell me one league that has made a rule.
It's the goss.
You're right. Tell me one league in the world that you can say you changed a rule that will affect teams going forward. But the teams that benefited from it before this, it's all good. Enjoy it. Those are free gifts.
Did you see now they're changing it again on July 1st?
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, when does this crap stop? It's simply something that you can't do. If it sucks because, yes, the rule needs tweaking and it needs to be adjusted, but guess what? You do that in the off season. You do that when the season's over. You can't do that in the middle of the season and then say, oh, well, yeah, I get that you lost that game. It's tough to be you. Yeah, tough to be us, because now those 3 points, or that point maybe, is now something that we don't get. We don't have those. That's the margin that slim margin is now taken from us because of some people in Premier League saying, yeah, you know what, maybe it's right. Maybe we should change it.
Did you see the one this morning?
Absolutely.
It was like a palm. I thought he was playing basketball. How do you not get that right?
Absolutely.
And you have the.
And that's why I say this too, because look, I begrudgingly say that Chelsea got that win, but the reason why I say begrudgingly is because, one, the Mount goal was a great goal. Look, I say great goal because, one, Trent tracked all the way back. He should have been able to push him more to his left, but for some reason he's like, I'll let you go to the right, to your more dominant foot, you know. And not only did he say that, he allowed for, Fab said, kind of gave him that I got this, and Fab let him go even further to his right to have even more of a gap. But if you look at it, and this is what I mean by this, you look at that replay, it's a great shot, but there's a shot where you see Kabak in the background, and he's got his hands behind his back, trying to block it. That's the natural way that most defenders go about trying to block it, because they're so mindful of the fact that handball exists. Handballs exist.
Do they?
Do they? Because I saw another player on a I think he's wearing blue. He came up as if he was being mugged, okay, with his hands up, like he's in a stick up. Have the ball literally hit him in his hand, where he gave a high five to his hand, and that's not a handball. If that's not a handball, I don't know what is. I don't care.
Just remove it from the sport.
That makes you going like this made yourself a bigger target. That's the reason why a lot of these players go like this. You made yourself a bigger target. I get, it's a natural thing. You got
a natural position, If
that's a natural position, fine, cool. But it's the same thing as like last week when Chelsea was playing Man U once again. Natural position, your hand being up like this is not a natural position per se, but yet that wasn't called. That wasn't called. And the scary thing about it is there was a quote by Shaw, who basically said that the referee came over and said that was a penalty, but I didn't want to go to it, basically. And this is what I'm trying to refer to it off the top of my head, but he basically said that that's a penalty, and I didn't want to go through I didn't want to bring any adversity or something along those lines. I didn't want to bring anything to the game, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, like he didn't want to put his stamp on the game by calling a penalty, but he put his stamp on the game by not calling a penalty.
Yeah. I'm like,
it's like,
who says that? That's a
at least internalize that. Like, you don't tell a guy on the pitch that.
Yeah. And
if you told me that and I'm on the pitch playing, I'm going to go for your knees. Exactly. I don't care if you're the ref or not. Like, I'm taking you out.
Yes, exactly. That's where we're at. And that's why I that call is the difference between us having 1-1, okay, or it being 1-0 and us having no points, 5.5. Oh, it's history this and it's history that, and all this crap. That's
essentially. Still have to make the PK, but I get it.
Yeah, but that one today for Arsenal, that gets called. You get a PK. Arsenal was in form. Most likely they finish it. They go up 2-0, and 2-0 in that game today is completely different than 1-0 and leaking a stupid goal. And now you draw and you drop more points too. Like
right. Look, goal differential counts. Obviously, wins and losses obviously count as well, but it means something, man. It really means something, and that's where it really, really has been a huge difference this year in the way that I've been looking at this season, is because things like that. It's one thing to see your team lose. Look, that'll get you up or get you down, but it's another when you feel that there's just no real rudder when it comes to where you're going with the officiating, where you're going with these rules, where you're going with how we're actually going to go about taking care of this league that we love. Because if you take away those parts of a league, then there's no fun to watch that. It's bad enough I gotta watch Manchester City have billions, if not trillions of dollars, to pay for everything. Like you look at the Manchester City team, they have like their second squad, their second team could be competing for top 4. Okay, that's how stacked they are. But yet, you have that to compete against, and here we are in a league that just doesn't have really any. When you don't have these referees, and this is something I believe in almost any league, to be honest with you, I believe sometimes these referees should come out and address things, should possibly do the same thing that the questions that are posed to like your coaches at the end of your managers at the end of a match. Oh, what did you think about this call? Or what did you think about that call? Well, one, I can't even comment on it because I'll be fined, Two, if I do comment it, then all of a sudden, who knows if I'm going to get the benefit of the doubt next time, or if they're going to hold a grudge against me or whatever those things are. So many factors getting pulled into that. Just come out and explain the call then, sir. Come out and say why when you went to like last week for us when we had a call VAR call. The ref went to the box to look at the screen, and it took all of 3 seconds that he looked at it. I think he pushed play, turned the television on basically, and then turned around already. I was like, what is the point of even doing that, dude? What is the point of even going over there and doing that? Was that just to so I couldn't say you didn't go to VAR, like you didn't go to VAR this week or this previous game, when that obviously could have just been looked at. Just look at it. Just play with play,
Yeah, you have the technology right there pitch side to go
it never even went. They never even looked at it.
And they won't look at it. You're allowed to look at it yourself. If the guy in your ear saying, I'm not really sure, why don't you go take a look? Like that should happen almost like every time.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have a choice. It should be the guy in your ear should be saying you need to go take a look.
Right. And
or forget the ref who made the call taking the look. Just let the VAR people make the call. That's it. That's kind of the job of the whole thing. Like they saw it, they're in there, they're running the video, they can see.
With the stupid line honestly, at this point, it's like my elbows offside, my forearms offside. It's like
soccer and baseball are two sports that I'm slowly becoming in favor of removing human officiating completely, because they are two sports. They are two sports where you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could. Yeah, baseball hands down, and soccer is extremely close. Extremely close.
Right, and that's exactly where I'm getting at. With these calls and with everything that we're seeing on the pitch, it's to the point where when's it ever stop? Like what are we doing? And
I hate to say it because everybody's human, and I don't want to put it on there. But you got to remember, everybody's human. So I don't care what you say. There's money involved. There's gambling involved. There's different things involved that one guy could have his hand in, and you never know. Look how long it took NBA to finally realize it and catch it. Yeah. And does it still happen in the NBA? probably.
Yeah.
They've just gotten better at it. But how many times can you determine the outcome of a game not just by little no calls, by little things throughout an entire game, and you might not be the one putting money on it, but your cousin Jim might, and cousin Jim might write you a check for $50,000 tomorrow after you. But look, and that's the thing, and I hate to say it.
Do you want a Black Sox scandal? Do you want something that where do you want something like the NBA had to go through when they did find out that referee was pulling the games, whether it's players, whether it's referees, whether it's even owners sometimes, giving out extra money here and there so that their teams get more respectable.
You mean tanking the final game of a season to let a team in the playoffs? You mean that?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Those are all things. Once you start chipping away at the integrity of a game, that's where you really don't have a game any longer. And that's
and it's scary. Yeah. This is hurting the integrity of the game. Period.
Yeah.
Yep. Or you just have a shitty reffing game like Lee Mason had last week, where it's just
and now he's got a bad hamstring. Right? Yeah. Bad hamstring, bad calf
injury.
The player asked him if he could take the kick. He asked him physically.
He blew the whistle,
and then he blew the whistle. He blew the whistle, and then said, "You know what? I'll blow it again." Who does that?
Because we can't have Brighton score there. That's why we can't have Brighton.
But then again, this is why I say you can't even ask the referee what happened there. What happened there? Because you ask for all of us as players or as fans, but more so as players or coaches, we've got to take accountability and everything else. The referees have to take accountability too. Mm-hmm. They don't want to once you start, you don't want a Jim West, who's an umpire in Major League
makes it all about him, right?
And who makes it all about him. You don't want these things to occur in the game, because then I'm not tuning in so I could see who the referee is. I don't want to be wearing a black and white.
You don't need a ref that's a showman.
Foot Locker jersey just so I could be like, I'm all about the refs. No, come on.
I don't want to see my pregame lineup come out and then see who the ref is and know I'm not even going to watch that game that night, because it's like you're gonna ruin my evening.
It gets to that point though, even in the Prem though. I'll see it's like, oh, geez, what's the guy that loved? He always reffed Man United and always gave Man United the benefit of the doubt. I forget which one it was, but
not
that guy. Dean.
Was he the one that commented on Klopp, basically called him a hypocrite? Is that the one?
I think so. Yeah.
Because because basically that guy is that is he openly said that we give certain teams the benefit of doubts. He said it.
You can't say that.
Even
if you're thinking it and it happens.
Even if you're thinking that, even if that is the truth, hey, don't tell me that.
No.
They had no problem saying that.
That's Pandora's box in a nutshell. If that happens, it's over.
Over. I mean, you saw it in the Brighton game. It's like, oh, Brighton's not supposed to score that quick goal. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they're Brighton?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, because look, there's the top six as it's put now, which is an interesting way of putting the term now, because the top six, if you're in sixth place, you don't go to anything. You're not making it in.
Well, you get the guaranteed Europa spot if a Premier League team doesn't win Europa or FA Cup or whatever. But yes, six is shit. Yeah, six is six.
Because chances are one of those things is a high likelihood.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to hearing those things and hearing, oh well, it doesn't matter if you make top six, or it doesn't matter if you make even if you're middle of the table. It matters, because the money that's coming into your squad matters if you are in this league. And whether it's your Norwich Cities or or now looking at your Fulhams, from last year and this year, those teams, it makes a difference. It matters if you're now all of a sudden selling players. I mean, it's bad enough to hear Klopp have to say that about Champions League. It's another thing to have to say, well, we're going to have to sell this player, or we're not going to have the wages. We just got hit by this pandemic, and now we can't even. Now we're going to be going to the championship.
That's a serious problem, because you don't want to fall into that administration. Like, look at Portsmouth. Look at I think there's a team right now too that's in that situation where they just don't have literally no money to spend on anybody.
Right. And that's what, and
you can't compete like that then.
Right. You can't. And like, we touched on it, and we said how the Wolves coach said that once came out just blatantly calling a referee to say, I don't even understand why he's a referee in this league. I don't even, like, as in, he is so poor that that there's no reason, and he knew he was gonna get fined. And there's no reason though why he should be officiating games. And anytime a coach would be as bold to say that, okay, and that the Wolves coach is not that guy. He's just not that guy. To have him say
it's got to be bad if he's.
It's got to be bad.
Oh, of course,
it's got to be bad. It's got to be bad. But yeah, there's so many different things. Oh man, I wish I had a whole spiel ready for you guys, because I know you guys are talking a little bit mess on my front three.
Well, I know save it, and you know why I'm going to tell you to save it? Not just because we're short on time, right. But we got two things that are going to happen between now and next week, and you get the Fulham game tomorrow. And you get that opportunity to get back going in the Prem, get your points, and get moving. And you got a Champions League game this week,
which is BS though.
So it is. I know we don't have time for it. I know.
BS. I know we got to get in Champions League discussion. That's BS though, because the fact that we have to play at a neutral place because the German team in Germany, the country of Germany, saying you would have to quarantine to come back is not my squad's fault.
Then they either need to quarantine or forfeit, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Without
it. And because now you're going to say, oh well, you don't get that home, and that home field advantage isn't much of anything at all. I get that, especially with the form that we've had. But to say that is bull malarkey. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about. But it's crap, absolute crap, and I don't understand that at all, because it's not fair, and it sounds like it's a whine. It sounds like it's just not.
It really isn't fair. Though.
No, there's a.
It's a loophole for everything.
Imagine if I'm a Turkish team, and all of a sudden the country of Turkey is like, oh well, you can't do this, or you're gonna have to quarantine. So now every game that in the Champions League for any Turkish squad has to be at a neutral location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
we couldn't.
All of a sudden, they could have a result simply because they're not having to go to Italy or going to Germany or England. That's ridiculous.
The U.S. team wasn't allowed to bring back the kid who's fighting for the number one striker spot because he was playing in Germany. Sargent wasn't allowed to be released because Wolfsburg's like, well, we can't, or Werder Bremen, whatever. We can't let him back there because then he's got to come back here and he can't play for us for 2 weeks. Well, guess what? Like,
hey,
that's
Ali and Klopp both said it, that like when it comes to releasing some of these players coming up, it's team first.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wearing a national jersey. Okay, I love my squad, but I mean it's team first because we pay you. And don't get me wrong, you get paid to be an international player,
okay? But not that. But not that money. You ain't getting that money.
You're not getting club money.
Yeah, that's like all-star money. That's what that is.
Exactly.
All-star money.
So yeah, unfortunately, we kind of got a wrap. But we do have some Champions League coming up. So that's this week. We have Europa coming up. Looks like Tuesday it starts.
Yeah. Dortmund Sevilla is Tuesday. And I believe the Juve Porto is also on Tuesday.
That's the Tuesday game. And then Wednesday is the Liverpool game.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's another game Wednesday as well. And then we have and Europa's all Thursday.
Yeah, all Thursday.
There's going to be plenty to watch, see, and talk about going forward. And for some teams like you and I, it's definitely a chance to right the ship. I mean, get this win against Leipzig, no matter what the situation is, and move into that final 8. And things are, a little calmer for the meantime. Same thing with Arsenal, big game against Olympiacos. So you got to go on the road and win that one. And all will be forgiven, I guess, if can be. But
revenge game.
Well,
yeah.
Let me just then give my because I did tell people to tune in to hear the little insider goss. So
we got time.
The insider goss, real quick, is basically, and the insider goss that I really have is more Chelsea based than Liverpool based, but basically Liverpool they're about I believe 6 weeks out from signing a major deal with Redbird Capital. They're going to be getting an infusion into the club with $750 million. I said that correctly. $750 million. And it should be something to hold our hopes high, because we're not a Man City. We're not a team like that's going to have like an empty coffer of gold chips to pull out. So that's huge. The fact that it was for only 10% of the team is also pretty astounding. Or part of FFG at least, but there's more than just Liverpool involved in FSG. But that's 10%. That's 750. That's huge, and that could be the result of us getting a major player.
Koulibaly.
I really think that's not. I have another name. I wish we did have more time, but I do have another name again that's on the radar that I really believe that I've spoken to a couple of my agent friends, and they really believe is going to be our target. But well, I guess I'll hold that off for maybe next week or maybe another time. But 10%, which is huge, $750 million, that's big. The fact that we are going to be getting a doctor. A new medical staff that's coming into Liverpool is huge. We could use it. Dr. Schlumberger, I believe his name is coming in. He's renowned, and he's coming to a new position that's going to be really big, because it's basically strictly for to address what we've been going through and getting players back in, and also maintaining their health and fitness so they don't even really get into these positions. And the Blues hot goss, I'm sure I got your attention on that one.
Let me know.
The Blues hot goss that I got is the fact that apparently Roman is not only all in, but he is all in on getting Haaland. You know how Roman is on his shiny toys, and apparently he is put it out there, which is crazy, and that shows how much money he has. He put it out there that it doesn't matter how much money it's going to take. If money is the determinant in having that player come, he is going to do it. And that's some really eye-opening, because that puts you on where, okay, they don't have to sell Haaland this season, but this sheer fact that, when you have an owner come out and say something like that, that means that you can possibly see something like that happen. You possibly could be looking at a Haaland come strictly on.
Well, I think Haaland's release clause doesn't go into effect until 2022 anyway, so.
Well, Haaland's already 42 minutes into the Bayern game as well, so perfect timing for that.
Did he?
Yeah, Dortmund's up 1-0, 2 minutes.
This is the day. This is the day we're gonna win.
You might get him to Bayern. The Bundesliga. Oh my god.
Hey, we need it. Speaking of not being able to not making Champions League and having to sell off players because they're not going to be able to afford them. That's a real possibility. I know.
You're 6 in the Bundesliga. God.
I know. But I'm going to get off and watch that game.
Yes.
But again, thank you everybody for tuning in. I know we just started blabbing and didn't really go into Champions League 2 in depth. Again,
that's right. We'll save it for next week because we'll have the next round. It'll actually work out good.
More of a recap.
We'll
and
be
Lord
into the
Walker,
Elite 8.
if you want to come back on next week, we'd love to have you on for more time.
Yeah, we'll get you in earlier.
Sure, because I definitely there was a yellow card, red card, definitely that I can hold off on from this week, but I definitely can say that could be next week as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do that because I got my little guy here too, so he's eager to hang out with Dad again. So,
That's good.
But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in again today. Back on the Saturday. Thank you, Lord Walker, for joining us again, chatting about your Reds. Thanks
best
everybody.
Of luck this weekend.
Yeah, please be full. Please. But yeah, enjoy your weekend, everybody. Stay safe, stay warm. At least us here on the East Coast. I don't know. I'm sure Arizona is gorgeous per usual. It is. No, it is.
No, it is.
But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend, guys.
All right. Sounds good.
Later.
Thanks.